We definitely are struggling today, guys. It's Throw It Out There Thursday. Oh, we're live. Is the audio good? Audio good? Okay. Oh, wow. I'm extra loud today. What's going on, guys? It's Throw It Out There Thursday. And as you guys know, we all got back from the dunes. We had a great first trip for Camp Razor. One thing we want to point out is you should probably clean up all of your trash, which would be what? The Black Bag Project. Little shout out there for Dave Karbczynski. What do you got?
Oh, we're the Black Bag Project. Clean up your trash. If you clean up your trash and you bring it in while we're down there, we'll give you prizes, shirts, gift certificates. We hold raffles. We got a clean coming up on New Year's at the Hill. And then we also have one coming up President's Day at Comp Hill. And then all throughout the season, if we're out there and you bring me a bag of trash, I will give you stuff. That's it.
Sweet. Free stuff for all the trash, all right? And there's plenty of trash out there in Glamis. But enough about that, guys. Let's go over to Justin Smith.
What's happening, guys? It's Throw It Out There Thursday. We do not have a subject of any kind. We were kind of just winging it like most of our shows, right, Steve?
Every show.
Every show. So you guys throw out some questions. We're going to answer it. In the meantime, we're going to walk around the shop. Maybe that'll spark some ideas on your part. If you see a vehicle that is exactly like yours that we're working on and you have questions about it, we're going to go over it for you.
Justin, I just want to point out, come here, Brandon. You're late back from lunch. Did you have a good lunch?
I'm actually going to lunch right
now. Okay. All right, let's go check it. Dang it, I thought I got him.
Thought you busted him. So much for that. All right, let's go back in the shop, see what we're working on today. A couple of things we want to point out to you guys. One, all of our appointments for Thanksgiving in the dunes are now open. Well, actually, they've been open. Every event that we have, or every single weekend that we have in the dunes, which is going to be previous Thanksgiving, previous Halloween, coming up Thanksgiving, New Year's, and Presidents. All of those events are able to be booked right now. So if you guys want to get your stuff done, then do not wait because they fill up. Steve, I think you were saying that almost every single appointment's booked for Thanksgiving already.
We are filling up rather quickly. So if you guys are wanting to set an appointment, call in 623-217-4959.
Shameless plug. Thank you very much. We can count on Steve for shameless. But make sure you call and get on there as fast as you can. Otherwise, you're not going to get a spot. The other thing that we want to let you know before we start walking around is if you guys have videos of you doing cool stuff in your UTV with our cool stuff, make sure you send it. Send it to us. That way we can check it out, and if it's cool enough, we're going to put it up, we're going to post it, we're going to link it, we're going to share it, we're going to do all the media stuff that I know nothing about because I try not to do any of it. And you're going to get a t-shirt of your choice, maybe even, if it's a cool enough video, for your whole family. We are doing a t-shirt giveaway for everybody with cool videos. Send them in. Mitch, tell everybody how to do it.
Well, speaking of t-shirts, there's a question about how many Halloween Glamis shirts that we have left.
Yeah, it's pretty tight.
Less than 50.
Less than 50. We have large, extra large. We have large, extra large, 2XL, and we have like 1 XXX for one of you big sons of guns.
I resemble that remark. I'm already double X at least at the moment. This is probably a XXX shirt, to be honest with you.
And what was the previous question? How did
that was, if you guys have cool videos, how are you going to send that to us and let us choose? Maybe that's more of a question for Josh. Josh, microphone, sir. Video, Josh. So how do you want people to send us the videos that are cool so we can link, use, and save them and share them?
You can just send it straight to our Instagram.
My hands. What do I do? It's weird.
Just send it to our Instagram or send it direct message through Facebook, and we should be able to check everything out we need to check out from there.
And we will take care of your t-shirt needs after you tell us which one you want.
That's right.
Right on. Josh, thank you.
Thank you.
All right.
Good job, Josh.
Josh actually is pretty good on camera. That's amazing for a camera guy. None of them are any good. Trust me. Yes. What you got, Dom?
Joel Vega, Pro XP Long Travel versus Razor Turbo R. What would you prefer?
Pro XP with long travel
or the Turbo R?
Turbo R.
Turbo R. 'Cause
All day. Suspension design is night and day. Suspension function is night and day. Try to get a Turbo R with the Fox shocks and dynamics on it.
beef your chassis, beef your everything on the Turbo
Yeah,
R.
I mean, it's such a better design when it comes to those things, like you had said. Geometry, chassis design, you don't have, as many weak spots, and I'm not even going to go into it. There's no difference. I'm sorry, there's no comparison between the two when it comes to suspension function. The Pro R is going to be a little bit heavier, so it's not going to be quite as quick as the other one.
But it's beefier.
But when the stuff gets big, you can send it, and I would highly recommend it. It's one of my favorites right now.
Hence, we're looking for that video.
Send the
Send
video of you doing manly things. Let's go this way. Mitch, what do we got over here in your area today?
Well, we have a Turbo S that we are playing with, some new cool stuff. I can't really
You
show
are
it.
actually
I wouldn't go too far over there.
Yeah, no. Don't show what we're doing, but in general, you are revisiting some of the Turbo S setups, right?
Revisiting Turbo S along with Turbo R and Pro R stuff. Got some cool.
That is because we never stop improving anything that we have, including old stuff, right?
Yeah, I mean even Turbo S 2018.
Don't even make it anymore, and we're still setting more stuff up for this. So you guys, that's just, I'm going to go and pull a Steve. Since we have new stuff on old stuff, this is why you want to have your shocks rebuilt here, because when you send them in, we're going to update everything with the newest, coolest setup when we do a shock rebuild for you for free. And we are always playing with that, Steve.
To clarify, though, upgrades and updates are two different things.
Tell people what that is.
So an update would be a valving change, anything like that on the internals. Now, an upgrade could be, let's say, a Series 6 bypass tube for a Can-Am, or possibly another style bypass tube. That would be another cost on top of the upgrade. or update.
Meaning that if it's valving based, it's a freebie. If it's going to cost $20, $50, $80, $100 for the component that upgrades it, then there is a cost for that. But typically, you're going to get the newest setup when you do the rebuilds anytime here. You have some more stuff that you have being done, not on this Turbo S.
Well, you can't really see it because it's kind of hiding, but it's camouflage, but it is there.
I don't know. What car do you have over there? Tell everybody what they're looking at because they can't see it.
That's one of many Polaris Rangers that we are developing spring kits for. We are also going to be offering an aftermarket Fox shock for this car as well, with springs.
So shiny bits underneath that right there.
Yep.
If you guys take a look deep, that's new spring kits for Rangers. And if you look behind Mitch's head up on the shelf, those are shocks in stock right now, aftermarket Fox shocks, completely adjustable for this Ranger.
I do believe they are QS3s as well, so you get 3 levels of adjustment along with preload adjustment for extra weight in the bed, people, all that good stuff.
Let me shut you guys down right this second. That you're already calling going, I'm trying to buy those shocks. They're not available yet until we do testing. They're very, very close. Give us a minute. We'll tell you when they're ready.
Also Defenders too. That's going to be cool.
Defender Fox shocks are actually being assembled right now. I don't know if I told you that, but the last components that they needed came in, and those things are going to be coming out soon. Again, don't call us today to try and buy those. We'll let you know, trust me, when they're here.
Very soon.
Yep.
Very soon.
What else we got working on around here?
That took up 2 days, so that's what I got over here.
Let's walk down the line. Let's see what we've got for customers' cars today. Next, we got a
Turbo Dynamic.
Yep. With spring kit, shock internals, looks like sway bar and possibly rack. Next, Can-Am X3. Spring kit, internal work. After that, another DS with limit straps, spring, internal work. You guys got any questions, fire it off. I'm actually, if you noticed, what I'm doing is killing time for you to actually have something to ask.
Justin, why does my X3 endo so bad compared to Razor's on the same jump?
Yeah, it's no problem. Don't lift when you're on the jump. I mean, keep your foot in it and it won't be an issue. No, there's a ton of factors that go into that stuff, man. I'm joking, but I'm not. Typically, throttle position is a big one. Second, setup. If you can adjust, you said X3?
X3, yes.
All right, so there's two things that typically cause, well, there's like 20 things that cause bucking on a jump. One, jump selection. If it's got a lip, then it's a problem. Two, if the back, maybe you don't have enough rebound turned into it, you can add rebound to the rear, which will keep it squatted off the jump and keep it lower on the back as you leave. Second, you can stiffen up the front so that the front, when it comes in and hits the jump, stays higher as it leaves the jump. Those two things typically are what you're going to play with if you have the throttle right. What's the right throttle? Not off the throttle, not completely pinned, probably half throttle as you leave jumps, maybe a little bit more, but lift as soon as the back tires are off the ground. That kind of say it all? Oh, what you got, Dom?
When will the Fox shocks be ready for the 200? Do you know?
I don't know.
I think they're being made though.
Yeah, the specs are done. Everything's been handed in months and months ago.
I think they're waiting on a reservoir.
That's it.
I think they're waiting on a reservoir.
All right, so
Very soon.
Yeah, you need a mic, by the way.
I think they're waiting on a reservoir.
Okay, thank you very
That's
much.
cute.
Appreciate that.
Sorry.
So we don't have a time for you. What else you got, Mitch?
A lot of questions about how did the Pro R do in the dunes?
Ooh, good question. Let's walk over here by this KRX while we're talking. Pro R in the dunes. I would say, okay, so it's my new favorite. It is, okay, but I'm going to qualify that statement. It's my new favorite because it's going to go through everything. It's going to ride amazing. You can run it right into a nasty G-out, hit the button and not bottom the car out. You're going to run through all the transfers and whooped out sections into the next dune. You won't feel any of it. It is a bit heavy, a bit top heavy in my opinion, so the turning in a Pro R is a little bit more tippy than a lot of people may like. So I think that the Pro R might need its own dune setup, a little bit lower, a little bit this, a little bit that to be perfect. In the corners, I think an X3 or a really set up turbo Polaris is going to be better in the corners, but everywhere else I think the Pro R is better. So with a little bit of time, we might have a really, really killer turning setup for the Pro R that would get rid of the only negative, in my opinion, of it feeling a little bit top heavy. Mitch, you got to drive all that stuff, and so did Dom, right?
Dom actually drove it more than I did, so he would probably be better to ask on that. But
Dom, what's your opinion compared to all the other stuff you've driven after this weekend?
Hands down, night and day difference. The Pro R is on a whole new level. I've driven the Pro R for the first 2 days, then hopped back in the red Turbo S, and it's unbelievable what that car can actually do. The Turbo S is a fantastic car, and especially with all of our products, it's just so smooth. But that Turbo R is it's just next level for
Pro R.
sure. I'm sorry, that Pro R is next level. Like the suspension, the beefiness, I mean, you name it, it's just like, wow, the wow factor's huge.
So after all that praise, give me one thing that you think is a shortcoming so you have both.
Oh, gosh.
We got to be fair. We can't just be blowing out, positives on everything. You got to give a little bit of both. You don't have a negative?
It's hard.
You don't think that anything else turns sharper? Any of that? Do you agree at all with anything I said on tippiness?
I mean, spinning the steering wheel, I like to, as I'm turning, I like to give it a good spin to try to help it. You can do that on both of them. It's really good. I mean, I don't know about a negative. I really don't.
All right,
Couldn't tell you.
fine.
Tell me a negative.
What?
Fine, you're fired. I want somebody who's
Tell
going
me
to
a
talk
negative.
smack.
A negative about one negative that I did hear from 2 customers in the dunes. Now, we have not changed the belts on these at all. They did say changing a belt was a pain in the ass, but it had nothing to do with the suspension or anything like that related. But I did have 2 customers in the dunes that had to change a belt, and they said it took them over an hour because they had to pull out their aftermarket seats. They had to pull a bunch of stuff. So that was the only negative I heard all trip.
Yes, Mitch.
I have somewhat of a negative for
What do you got? What do you got for negative?
The amount of Pro Rs that I saw three-wheeling this past weekend was kind of mind-blowing to me.
Meaning that they stuffed it.
They stuffed it, and it was probably 9 out of 10 times the ball joints that failed on either corner.
Well, but is it the ball joint's fault if you go lawn darting your car?
No. I mean, there's stuff that always happens out there, so you can't really blame it on that. But I just did see a lot of that.
So I will fight you on that just a little bit, because I think we see a ton of front corners ripped off of cars, not specifically like the Pro R necessarily. We see plenty of X3s with the front stuffed off of them after
They run out of talent.
Yeah, I mean, we have that
you run
factor.
out of talent too, right? I mean, you stuff it into a witch's eye or you come off. I don't think any car is going to be able to handle that, right?
There's only so much you can do, man. And even if you go and dune a trophy truck, you can rip the corner off of it in a witch's eye if you do it just right. My point being, I think if you saw a ton of Pro Rs, it's because there's a lot of Pro Rs out there. I think that it happens every trip.
There was definitely a lot of Pro Rs out there too. So, yeah.
For sure. All right, you guys got any more questions before we talk about KRXs?
Can we do IQS on Smart Shocks?
I can't hear you. Oh, you have a mic. Never mind.
You can hear me.
IQS
on Smart Shocks.
Yes. Absolutely, we can do IQS on Smart Shocks.
Awesome.
It takes your minimal adjustments and turns it into 16 more. Is that right? Am I doing the math right?
If you do IQS with Smart Shocks, you get 9 total adjustments. So you get three positions for your comfort, your sport, and your sport plus.
Mm-hmm. Badass. So answer is yes, and it's really, really cool. We've had a lot of feedback on that, and guys love it after they do it. But at the moment, we're out of IQSs for about another week or two. Heads up.
Mitch, we got a question for you. How many cars did you spring/valve at Camp Razor?
Add them up in your head, right, Mitch?
Yep.
Was it 52 or 62? I forget.
We did a total number of cars. We did 62 cars total. Valving wise, I'm gonna say we did 54, 55 valving on cars. So
that's impressive in 4 days worth of work, man. That's like a 16 car a day average.
It was by far one of the busiest trips that we've had down there as far as people wise and amount of work that we did. So it was really cool to see all you guys come by and check it out. And
Camp Razor was sick. There was a lot going on. Steve, like big fan of Pennywise, was like all over it. I don't know why anyone's a fan of Pennywise, personally. What?
Never heard of her.
Yeah, but the personal opinion, man. Everyone's got one. Yes, Steve.
Can I say
Question.
one thing? No, I got a statement. One thing I will say that I thought was super rad about Camp Razor is Polaris throwing it and them fixing every single car. Or sorry, they fixed every single car they could. If they had the product, if they had everything they could, those guys were working super hard. They kept coming over to our tent, borrowing a spring compressor or borrowing very minimal tools, but it was very cool to see Polaris as a whole be able to help out like the off-road community and everyone in Glamis if they were broken down. I thought that was super rad to see.
You got a really good point, Steve. Me talking crap about Pennywise is just a joke. The overall event, right? I mean, no, it's not a joke. I hate Pennywise. But the event did not suck because of that. The event was unbelievable, and Polaris put on a great show all the way around, and they just killed it. Their customer service on the repair stuff, like you talked about, was insane. Every morning, if you guys don't know, maybe you're in another country, but you get to the Polaris event. If you've got a Polaris and you break it, you can take it over to them. They're going to fix it for free. And there was cars lined up after running out of talent, stuffing it into stuff with front ends ripped off. They're dropping them off. Polaris is pulling brand new parts off of other cars and out of pallets of inventory to fix everything for free, so that wrecked car can get back out tuning. Like we had a really good friend of ours do that exact same thing, had his car fixed. He tried giving those guys money, they wouldn't take it. He tried giving them a tip, they wouldn't take it. He tried giving them advice, and they didn't take it on purpose because he doesn't have good advice.
And he had no talent.
But
love you, Gary.
It was insane to watch them repair everything for free. You guys, it's Polaris. Kudos to you. Did a great job. Very, very impressive. Everybody should go to that event.
Shout out to whoever sent a tire and a belt with my name on it here too. From Polaris. I don't know who you are, but that's awesome. Thank you. I've been trying to figure out who it is. I just don't know. So if you're watching this, thank you. It's awesome.
How about this KRX?
Yeah, how about this KRX? We can. It's green.
Thank you.
Right, excellent. Here's a list of stuff that's going on this one, but
Captain Obvious.
duh. But we've got spring kit, we've got shock internals, we've got limit strap kit. Looks like we might even have some other components, little things here and there going on this one. Crossovers, of course. And behind us, we've got Ernie's Pro R 4-seater back from the dunes, and it is already converted and going back out to the desert this weekend with some changes that we're always doing. Changes like tube configurations, valving configurations, just going for it to try and find out where the limits of things are. This car was pretty badass in the sand. Not much for us to change, but going back and forth, we're always trying things nonstop to see if there's something more that we can eke out of it, right? Steve.
Yes.
Yes,
sir.
Yes, Steve.
Yes.
So I know you haven't recovered from the trip. You're super tired.
A little bit.
Yeah.
It's been a hell of a week.
You're not quite yourself, man. I just don't see the biggest smile or you dancing as much as normal.
It's been a hell of a week. Cold showers and
water heater failures at home.
Failures and truck. It's just been a good week to come back to.
Well, man, it sucks to see you down and out. Normally, you're way up on things.
Sorry. Next live meet.
Mitch, you got any questions for us?
I do have a really good question. Colin Fitzpatrick wants to know, does the new Can-Am rear knuckle / spindles now being double shear cure the center radius rod issue?
Yes, it does, which means you do not have to buy our our TLS kit for that, which sucks. TLS is going to go by the wayside as these things get improved, but it had a good run. And if you've got an older vehicle, then you definitely want to do that too. It's a great idea from Polaris. Surprised they jumped on it as quick as they did. It was great. Actually.
Do you think the Pro R wheelbase is too long?
No, I think a 2-seater is spot on. I think that the earlier Polaris wheelbase in a 2-seater was too short. The Can-Am X3 wheelbase is probably a good happy medium, and we've proven it in racing that you can go through big whoops with that longer 2-seat wheelbase, longer than most 2-seaters, right? So I'm happy to see the Pro R get a little bit longer. I think it's good.
I think it's great.
On the 4-seater, it's very similar to a Can-Am wheelbase. I forget what it was, 130 something in that range, but that's pretty spot on too. There's no, we haven't found a negative with the longer stuff at all.
They're both pretty smooth.
Mm-hmm. For sure. Steve, you had a question?
Tyler said, shout out to Mitch and Steve for the best customer service out there. We know it, dude. We know it. No, he came by. Yeah, he came by and we did a couple, like a spring swap and kind of set his ride height, and he was super, super pumped. Did a very slight change, and he said it was incredible. So
I know he's really liked it up in Colorado running the you-know-what out of that thing.
Yeah. No, Tyler Avila.
T-Av.
Oh, I thought it was
not Aaron Kaufman.
Yeah, I thought it was Aaron.
No, he's got Turbo S.
Okay, never mind.
Velocity. But no, I did have a question that I saw. Are we gonna have radius rods soon for the Turbo R and Pro R? Justin?
You know, really good question, Steve. Thank you very much.
Yes.
Shameless plug. The rear radius rods for Pro R, Turbo R are going to be in next week, probably the end of next week. We'll give you a full lowdown when they're available, but we've got majority of the parts, only waiting on a couple little things to come out of the machine shop, and that stuff launches. We have tested the you-know-what out of those, and they are solid. We've had guys wreck cars that rip the front ends off, and the back's still perfectly fine after running it sideways into stuff. So those have turned out great. We've also got racers on them, too.
Yeah. Brandon Sims did a sick wheelie out there.
Brandon was sending it. He was doing a really good job, man. Not only the wheelie, but he led the Polaris dune run with a ton of guys. It was like 20, 30 cars in that dune run.
29.
There you go, 20, 30-ish.
69?
29.
You bet.
29.
Okay, you bet you, bud. So 30 cars in that dune run. Almost every single person that was in it was a Polaris racer or influencer or ambassador or whatever. So it was really cool to have everybody together and have a good time. Running out to the swing set and back, lots to see. Lots of fun stuff.
Is that when Elon launched his rocket? Was that same day?
No, that was the day before.
Okay.
You guys remember that rocket launch everybody was talking about? We were at the at Sunset Point. We've got pictures of that rocket right over everybody that was on Sunset Point. It's pretty cool. All right, you guys got last 5 questions.
Rapid fire.
Knock it out.
Peyton wants to know, I noticed that in Ultra 4 race, some of the cars are running a heavier top spring on the front shocks. What would be the benefit? Example, 350 over a 250.
So it's all about the math. What was his name again?
Peyton.
Peyton. All right, so all about the math, man. So 350 over 250 compared to 250 over 250. I'm just going to try and do this really quick. 250 over 250, when you do the math, the combined rate is 125. So when you're sitting at ride height, you got 125 pounds per inch. When you get into the crossover, you get into the lower spring only, which is 250 pounds an inch. Now, so 125 over 250, or 125 transfers to 250 throughout the spring rate in travel. When you have a 350 over 250, Steve is probably doing the math right now, but I'm going to guess that it's about 136 or 7 pounds an inch combined jumps to 250. What is it?
145.
I missed it by
That
8.
much.
I can do that math.
That much.
I missed it by 8 pounds, but 145 pounds to 250. So all you've done by running a heavier spring over the lower is you've increased the combined rate at ride height. You still have the same heavy rate on the bottom when you compress it, like in a jump landing or something. So there isn't anything wrong with it. It's just that you start taking that to the extreme, and eventually you end up with the same rate combined as you do on the lower. So there's almost no point having 2 springs. You could run a single spring. So it just depends on what you want for tuning, man. Not that big of a deal. Maybe in rock crawling, you want to have a lighter lower and a heavier upper. I doubt it, but it could be possible for that guy and the way he likes it. Rapid fire.
62 or 74 inch for the dunes.
74, 72, 74. Wider would be better.
2 or 4 seat.
I would prefer 2. Lighter, nimble, quicker to whip around a corner. Wider's more stable, but you can also take a 64 and put a freaking 12 or 14 inch wheel on the back of it and flatten out the paddle, and it's going to get really wide and it's going to be plenty stable. If you have a narrower car and you want stability, consider this. Lower it 1 inch. You probably get the same stability as you do out of a 72.
I need trailing arms on a 22 Can-Am. What brand would you recommend?
I would go S3, Lone Star, Geyser, Cognito.
All the best brands.
There it is. There's 4 for you. Rapid fire.
What paddles did you run on the Pro R?
We ran a Tenzer on the back for our first trip. We also had another car with STUs that had a #1 comp cut. They both performed wonderful. We're continuing to try this next trip, multiple other sets, and we'll have a little bit more feedback for you. But so far, they're both great. RPM is up, acceleration's up. You can drift both of them in a corner. So all the things you want in the dunes.
Question for North Carolina: when might we be taking appointments?
We'll probably take appointments starting in February. We will be just about set up in January, and probably conducting real business, full throttle somewhere in February. We'll update you on that as it gets closer. Right now we're setting up workbenches, we're setting up shipping areas, setting up the showroom, we're getting inventory over there, we got a lot going on. Multiple semis of parts headed that direction right now.
It's going to be
Ramp Rant wanted to know, was Glamis my honeymoon?
Was it? Your honeymoon. He's got a point, actually. He does.
It was not. We did a 2-day honeymoon after the wedding, and then came back and went straight to a race, and then after that, straight to Glamis. So it's been like 14 days nonstop right now. So
This is why Mitch looks like he's stoned. He's actually tired.
we're
Very.
all exhausted. So, but no, we 2-day honeymoon. We'll be right back to it.
All right. Dom, you got any more?
That was it.
Mitch, you got any more? That means the only person left to talk on this here live feed is going to be Steve. Thanks for watching. Appreciate it. See you guys in 2 weeks. Steve, take us out.
Guys, we're trying to set an appointment for Glamis in Thanksgiving. During Thanksgiving, not in Thanksgiving. Call the shop 623-217-4959, or if you're looking to buy some bitchin' badass parts from us, visit www.shocktherapyusa.com.